So this is lesson 6, credit cards. It says here in the first part of the unit we have looked at different ways of earning interest. Alright, and what we're going to talk about today, or in this lesson, earning interest on investments. There's another side of the story, that is when you borrow money or take out a loan to buy something that you pay for later. This is called credit. Credit is the type of loan where the borrower receives something of value and agrees to pay for it later. The best example of people buying on credit is when they use their credit card. Credit cards have many good features and they are very convenient. And they're a way to they are a way to improve your what's called credit rating. Is by using your credit card responsibly and only charge you what you can pay off in full each month. But if you do not pay off the full balance at the due date, the credit card company charges you interest. Now, the rates for most investments recently are fairly low and currently less than 4%. However, if you borrow money or use credit cards and do not pay them off each month, the finance charges the total amount of interest paid to borrow money are much higher. While you may get as little as 1.5% on investment, you may have to pay 20% or more on unpaid credit card balance. So you may think this is illegal, but it's not. When you agree to use a credit card, these rates are published on each statement. However, people don't always read them carefully and you can get into a lot of debt. Using credit cards, they can't pay off each month. So, to calculate the interest due on credit cards, the simple interest, and again I apologize for my handwriting. The simple interest formula is used. Be careful to convert the interest rates to a non-percentage number and accurately determine the term in years. I'm going to highlight that. Okay. So here's example number 1. It says here to calculate interest due on an unpaid credit card balance of $2,067.45 at a rate of 19.5% for 17 days. How do you calculate that? Well, we're looking for I, and it's simple interest, right? I is equal to PRT. So principal is $2,067.45. Rate, make sure you change it to decimal or non-percentage. And then 17 days, well, you have to convert it into years. So 17 divided by 365. So I is equal to P times R times T, which is a grand total of 1878. Now it says here you might not think that's very much money, but consider you only borrowed it for 17 days. Okay, so it's very, very expensive. So I'm going to highlight the fact that, if I can get my highlighter, you need to make sure you convert it into years. Alright? Alright, example number 2. Says here, Ray has an unpaid credit card balance of $4,384.67. What charges an interest rate of, that charges an interest rate of 19.5%. His payment was due on March 23rd and he paid the minimum of $50. What will his balance be on April 15th? Well, March 23 to 31 is only 8 days long, and April 1 to April 15th is 15 days. So this person, Ray, had an outstanding balance for 24 days. Okay, So you make sure you understand how to calculate the number of days per month. Now we don't know. Principal is 43.8467. Rate, make sure you change it to a non-percentage value. And then time, again, I'm going to highlight that. You need to make sure that's converted into years. Now, the interest is P times R times T, which is 53.88. The interest due is $53.88, which is more than the payment last month. So what's his new balance? Well, his old balance is $43.84 plus interest minus your minimum payment. Your balance is actually increased. All right? So it's in your best interest to pay your credit card off as fast as possible. All right. So it says here, credit card companies require you to make a minimum payment. Each time they send you a statement. Now, the minimum payment is a percentage of the unpaid balance or a flat dollar amount, whichever is greater. Credit card companies are now required by law to print on monthly statements how long it'll take you to pay off a balance. If no further purchases are made, and if only the minimum payment is made each month, it can be scary the amount of time for a small balance. So here's an example. So previous balance of $225.52, you made a payment of $230, you bought some new things, your new balance is $259.99. Now, if you bought absolutely nothing more and made $10 minimum payments every month, it'll take you 2 years and 9 months to pay off $260. Okay? So it's a very, very long time. All right, example number 3. It says your Max has an unpaid balance on his credit card of $494.95. His credit card company charges an interest rate of 19.75. Max must pay a minimum payment of either 12.5% or $75, whichever is greater. So the question is, what's Max's minimum payment? Okay, so calculate the minimum payment by multiplying the interest rate by the amount. Don't be confused by other numbers in the question. So the balance is $494.95. The rate is, well, change it into a non-percentage, 0.125. So the payment is $494.95 times 0.125, $61.87. Now, it's either $61.87 or a minimum of $75. So which one is greater? All right. So obviously $75 is greater. So that's what will be required for that payment by Max. Okay. All right. Now, it says here, another way credit card companies make money is by charging higher rates for what's called cash advances. A cash advance is a withdrawal of cash from the ATM machine charged to a credit card. So you can actually pull cash out of your credit card. The interest rate charged for that cash advance is usually higher than for purchases. It is calculated from the day you withdraw the cash advance. So here's an example. It says on March 12, Jill charges a cash advance of $500 on her credit card. Now, I don't recommend you ever take cash advances out of your credit card. They are going to rip you off badly. All right, so this charge appears on a monthly statement issued on March 27th. Jill does not make any other purchases on her credit card. Jill's bank charges are, look at this, 28% just for cash advances starting on the day of the withdrawal. How much interest does Jill owe for just this cash advance? That's assuming you don't buy anything else. So it's $500. You change the rate to a non-percentage. So you divide by 100. and you had a cash advance of essentially what worked out to 15 days. So I is equal to P times R times T is always in years. And notice that it's $5.75. That's just for 15 days to hold on to $500. Okay? So make sure you try very, very hard not to do cash advances. It's very, very expensive. Okay? And hopefully this makes sense.